Mississippi mud pie. If you get 100 bakers together, you're probably going to get 100 different versions of this recipe. They're all over the place, very decadent. Probably every single one is very delicious. This one is fairly simple, and it's not going to use a chocolate crust. It's going to use a regular sweet pie dough crust. It's a recipe that I've had hanging around for a long time, and I just thought it'd be very interesting because it's a fairly simple recipe. We're going to start with the food processor. And in it, I'm going to put 1½ cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar. Kind of sticks in there. This is ½ teaspoon of salt. And now I'm going to give that a little mix just to get the dry ingredients blended. Okay, that's good. Now to that, I have 1 stick, ½ cup of cold butter cut into small cubes. I'm going to add that in. And then I have some water. How much water? It really depends how much it's going to absorb, but we'll see. We're just going to pulse this together until we get like grated butter or granules. So that's like 8 pulses. Now I'm going to add some water, probably a tablespoon at a time. Another one. Another. Okay. So that took about 3 tablespoons of butter. Take this out. Now I'm going to get myself a piece of plastic wrap. Because you want to refrigerate this for ½ an hour to an hour. And just bring it together. I'm going to wrap it. Kind of smush it into a disc. All right, so 20 minutes to ½ an hour in the refrigerator, and then we'll roll it out and then we'll make the filling. While the pastry is cooling in the refrigerator, I'm going to start making the filling. I have a small pot into which I'm going to put 1 stick or 1/2 cup of butter and 3 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. That's a good Belgian chocolate that I've chosen. You use whatever good chocolate you happen to have. And all I'm going to do now is wait until this melts together, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the filling. All right, chocolate is all melted. I'm going to remove it from the heat and set it aside. I'm going to get this out of here. Very, very warm. For the rest of the filling, I've got 3 whole eggs, 3 tablespoons of corn syrup, light corn syrup, 1 1/2 cups of sugar, and 1 teaspoon my homemade vanilla. I'm going to put the eggs into my mixer bowl, and I'm just going to whip them up until they get frothy. And that's good enough. I'm going to add in my corn syrup. I love the vanilla. If you don't make your own homemade vanilla, it's far less expensive than buying the good stuff, and you can, it's just wonderful. I'm going to add in the 1.5 cups of sugar, and I'm going to blend this up. Okay, that's nicely blended. I'm just going to make sure, get right down to the bottom. Now I'm going to add in the chocolate. I'm going to pour in a little bit at a time. Again, the chocolate is still kind of warm. I don't want to scramble these eggs. There we go. And just mix it up well. And we're going to set this aside, put our mixer away, get out our pastry, and roll it out. And then we'll bake our pie. So I will leave my whisk in there because I'm going to need to blend it again just before I put it in the pie. So let me clean up and then I'll get the pastry out. Now we get to roll out the crust. I have a 9-inch pie plate, which I'm going to put aside. Put some flour on. Here's our pastry. It's been in there for about a half an hour. Flour up our rolling pin. And just roll. A little bit more. Don't worry about the cracks. You can always patch it. That's about right. Okay. And let's get it in there. You can see how I've got a problem here. Don't worry about it. Slightly get it in there. Do some patching right there. No problem. Clean pair of scissors, which I just washed. Just trimming off some of the excess. I want enough to turn under. I'm not going to get too fancy with my edges. Although you can. If you do some Google searches, you can find some really imaginative pie edges, which are really cool. I keep meaning to take a day and just have fun and practice them all, but I just never seem to get around to it. So I'll make the one that my mother always made. Just turning it under. Broke a little bit, just patch it up. My oven is now heating until 350 degrees, and this is going to go in there for about 35 to 40 minutes until the top is kind of crunchy looking and the inside is set. It's hard to tell when the inside is set. You're just going to have to kind of guess at it. You kind of give it a wiggle. If it wiggles too much, it's too liquidy and you need to leave it in there a little bit longer. But you don't want to leave it in there too long because then it'll be too set. You want it to have a little goo to it. Okay, there we go. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way here. If you are a beginning baker and you want to know some of the essential tools you should have one of these. Bench scraper. And there's our filling, which I'm going to give it another mix. Pour it in. Smells wonderful. But then again, it's chocolate. Okay, there's our pie ready for the oven. It's going to go in, like I said, a 350 degree oven, 35 to 45 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Here's my Mississippi mud pie. I hope it's all set in the middle. It's a little wiggly, but I can't cut it now. It's just way too hot. You want to cut it while it's warm or room temperature, but not while it's this blazing hot because it'll just leak all over the place. So you're just going to have to wait a few minutes. Here's our Mississippi mud pie. It's been sitting for about 15-20 minutes. Now I'm going to cut it open. Hear that? I don't know if you heard the crunch, and I can see the goo. And there is a slice of our Mississippi mud pie with a scoop of ice cream. Enjoy.